CEO of ManpowerGroup and partner on the launch of the Global Labor Resilience Index 2020 here in Davos on the 21st of January. Now, one of the findings of the report is that global labor resilience is actually on the increase. It's increased 10% over the last 5 years. And many countries are resisting to shocks, especially in the top 10. Shocks like Brexit, shocks like trade differences between countries. However, at the subnational level, there seem to be pockets of differences and different levels of resilience, namely in the United States, one of the cases that was taken. Would you have any perspectives on that, and what you think a company like ManpowerGroup can do to support and address those issues?
Well, I think it's very interesting to see that the index accurately reflects at the macro level the improvement that we have seen in employment over the last 5 years, including over the last year, which is also showing an increase in the index. But equally, or maybe even more important, is that it shows that within a country, there exists quite strong regional differences, and there also exists quite big differences between different skills and occupations. So it's really a reflection of the bifurcation of the labor markets, both in terms of regional bifurcation, rural versus urban, and between those semi-skilled to skilled jobs and the unskilled or lower skilled jobs, which are in lower demand and where the resilience is less tangible in many parts of the world. And as far as ManpowerGroup is concerned, the way we think about this is that we see the reskilling and upskilling need at scale to be the defining challenge of and for companies and for nations all across the world.
Now, one of the things that are being called out right now is governments are just not doing enough. They're not following the speed with which technology is impacting, other forces are impacting labor markets. What is your perspective on this? Do you think governments are moving fast enough? And is there room for having more public-private partnerships to solve issues and even do it at a local level, not just at a national level, but having communities involved and working in making their communities more resilient in terms of labor?
Well, I actually think that it's the responsibility of companies enabled by responsive government and companies working with social partners to find good solutions to these structural labor market changes that are occurring. Technology is moving at an accelerating pace. So it's almost impossible for government to keep pace with that change. And frankly, the private sector and organizations have a great responsibility in adjusting and helping make this adjustment, enabled by a supportive policy framework, as well as working with educational institutions to be able to bridge the skills gap that are occurring due to this bifurcation, that those that have the skills have plenty of opportunities, and those that don't have the skills are really feeling more marginalized and with less opportunity going forward. So it's not one party that can solve this problem. This is going to be an issue that we will need to tackle, all of us working together in a very good way, and private-public partnerships is, of course, one of the mechanisms that might be able to address this in a better way than we have in the past.
Very clear. One last question for you is, if you had one policy for the United States today, which is doing well, as we saw, but has still areas for improvement, one recommendation, what would it be in terms of making its labor market even better than it is?
Well, the US labor market is extremely flexible, but it does have some challenges in accommodating new business models that fairly also reflect the reality of the workforce that needs to be part of those business models. And I think there is new opportunities for this framework to evolve and maybe have aspects like portable benefits, where individuals who don't have access to those benefits or to healthcare, that they can have a security network that at least provides employment security, even though job security in a traditional sense is not something that the US model is strong and known for. Providing greater employment security, I think, could provide an easier way to integrate people that feel marginalized and are not participating fully in the workforce to the degree that they might wish to.
Yes, which is actually one of the findings of this Global Labor Resilience Index, and it points to the direction of inclusiveness and work for all. Thank you so much, Mr. Prising.
Thank you very much.